Now, you both talked a lot about working with children, youth, parents, caregivers, and educators. So, Ruthie, what is the CCDMP's approach to working with community? How do you make sure that your research is relevant and beneficial to the community?
Yeah, so definitely, in the last few years, the CCDMP has really moved more towards this community-based research work. And a lot of that really just started with conversations. So, reaching out and forming those initial connections, finding organizations in the community that are doing similar work and kind of talking to them about what they do. And, through that basic discussion, you're kind of understanding, oh, are there, there's overlap here, maybe we should work together, and finding those different ways that that work can unfold. So I think really it started with those conversations, and then from there it just kind of grew. So we've been really fortunate to partner with a lot of different organizations in the Peel region, and together we've been able to secure some funding for research practice initiatives. For example, one focuses on developing a training for caregivers and educators to support their capacity to recognize, what are different factors of social emotional development, right? So, what is emotion regulation? What does it look like in a child? What is empathy? How does empathy develop in children? And then also, what are practical research based ways that we can support these capacities in early care settings or at home? So, a lot of that started with those early conversations around, what are things that different early ons or childcare organizations are doing in their settings to support healthy development, and how can we kind of work together to make sure that we're reaching more children and families, and to include those really practical hands-on activities and strategies that caregivers and educators can go out and apply the next day.
I'm going to throw another one at you.
Yes.
What have you enjoyed most about working with the community?
From that, I've definitely learned so much about just opening myself up to, and I think I've become a better researcher by working with the community to see, take a step back. Sometimes it's helpful to take a step back from that theory, from that research question, and actually hear from educators who are working daily with children what they're experiencing, how they see children developing. And from that, I feel like you really get a great way to kind of integrate research and real life, and meld those together in a way that's actually asking really relevant questions.
Yes.
And is taking a step towards answering those questions with the community in a way that's actually useful to children and families.
That's great. Thank you. Um, what advice do you have for other researchers who are interested in sharing their work with the community?
I think I would say the advice that I have for researchers who are interested in community work is to just be open to learning, right? I think of myself as continually learning, continually growing. We don't know everything, and we're still really learning a lot about how children develop, how mental health unfolds. And so I think just staying open to what you can learn from the community is would be the biggest advice I have. And maybe you kind of go in a project with a certain idea in mind. You're like, okay, I'm gonna research emotion regulation. But then during conversations with partners, you learn, oh, empathy and kindness is really something that we see as a really pivotal area that we want to focus on in our programming. So empathy is also interconnected with emotion regulation. So looking at opening yourself up to different ways to ask questions and to do your work.
Here's a similar question to you, Bei. What advice do you have for other artists who are interested in this type of work?
To be honest, I have the same answer actually. So I thought about it a lot, but I think at the end, they are actually all doing the work they're doing. But I think it's important to, if you want to do this kind of collaboration, then to really get yourself to point zero, to really learn like a newborn or like a baby, and to be ready for that. And And I think that's actually a point because when you were talking, I just thinking about a really beautiful quote from a German philosopher. He said, "Every language is like a window you see through the world." And I think, like you said, I think we're all like speaking our languages in the professions we're acting, and this is like the collaboration is like giving a new possibility of new views and the way that we could maybe look into the world. So actually, that's that. I think we'll all learn new things, and we'll all maybe notice in this kind of collaboration barriers. But that's also cool to understand where are actually the barriers are, and how can we do in order to maybe overcome and find a new strategy how we can work with that. So yeah, I think
Well, I love that quote that you just
Yeah.
shared too, and it makes me now thinking of yourself as just continually learning. Like and now I'm gonna think of myself as a newborn.
Yeah.
Like next day is another opportunity to learn something new.
Yeah.